Hello class, welcome. This is AP Environmental Science. This is our first video starting out with Chapter 1, looking at our changing environment. What is environmental science? First off, what is science? Well, you'll hear these words listed down below quite often throughout this class: sustainability, development, ecology, energy, ethics, populations, and pollution. Some might say that human population is our #1 environmental problem. And how do we deal with such a growing population? Now, if you take a look at a picture over here, down below we've got time, and then over here we've got people in billions. And if you look, in the last 8,000 years, our population has pretty much stayed the same, except for the last couple hundred years. Our population has exponentially grown. Right now we're about 7 billion people. That's a lot of people. Now, where do you think that it's going to be in the future? Do you think it's going to continue to increase, go up to 14 billion? Do you think we're going to hit some type of plateau somewhere around 10 billion? Or what? But the reason why this is such a huge problem is because as our population increases, how are we going to handle our resources? We only have a limited amount of resources. What about our waste when we throw things away? What about poverty? All right, there's a huge growing gap between the really wealthy and the really poor, as you hear the 1%. Also loss of biodiversity. Now, are we going to be able to live on this planet with all other living things, or are we going to take over and their habitats are going to diminish? And then also global climate change. So where is all this population growth coming from? Now, if you take a look over here at this picture, here in green we have the world total population, looking how it's changed since 1950 to about right here, where we're about 2012, and then projected what it might be like into the future. Now, we've got two lines here, blue and red, developing or developed country. The United States, which one is it? If you said developed country, you're correct. The United States is a developed country. So the growth is coming from the developing countries, where female fertility rates are 6 babies, 8 babies on average per woman. Now, with an increasing population dealing with our resources, we have to look at this thing called an ecological footprint. And are we living sustainable? So an ecological footprint is per individual, how much impact do you have on a unit of area? Now, you might not think that you have that much of an impact and you try to live a very eco-friendly life, but you do. Think of all the toothpaste you might consume throughout your life. Think of when you were a toddler, how many diapers you used. Or think of throughout your life how much food you consume. Now, that stuff comes from somewhere and it builds up. So if you look over on the side, we have different countries and looking at their ecological footprint compared to each other. So United States, we're looking at 9.6 hectares. And hectares is a unit of area, like acres, except it's a little bit larger. It's the metric unit for acres. So someone from the United States takes up 9.6 hectares. Someone from the Netherlands, which is in Europe, if you were unsure on that, takes up 3.8. Someone from India, only 0.8 hectares. Now, if you look here, that's per capita, but if you look at total ecological footprint, so everybody together, United States, take up 3 billion hectares. The Netherlands, 62 million hectares, and someone from India, 880 million hectares. Now, if you look over here, this is pretty interesting. At the ecological footprint and how it's changed over time. Now, if you notice, you should notice a growing trend here, that the ecological footprint has increased. And what's this dotted line? It's the Earth's ecological capacity. What is the capacity? It is kind of the roof to where it can hold. Anything over, it cannot sustain. Anything under, it can sustain. So where are we? Yeah, we're over.